Hi there, my name's Rise. Today I'll be doing something a little bit different from my normal videos. I present to you the first part of the comprehensive beginner's guide. DFO is soon, very soon, and a lot of newbies are panicking. There is no real comprehensive resource to help them out. That will change with this series. Just a little bit of background before we begin. Originally, when I went to create this guide, I had asked DFO Nexus's community for some suggestions, and I ended up getting quite a bit more than I bargained for. Because of this, I decided I could not reasonably do all of this in a single video. The first part of this series will cover some easy tips to kickstart your DFO experience. This first video is divided into 3 separate sections, each section filled with 4 tips. I will link to the 3 sections in the description down below for your convenience, and I will have a link to an in-depth guide for this video as well. That's enough talk. Let's get the show on the road with the first section, all about materials. Materials are a huge part of DFO. There are some tips I can give to you to help you out in regard to this. Tip number 1. Save all your cube fragments. I can never say this enough to newbies. Save every single cube or cube fragment you end up collecting. You will need it soon enough in the form of epic quests, and not only that, you will need it for a ton of your skills. If there's one thing you should keep in mind, it's definitely this. But Rise, how do I collect cube fragments, you ask? That brings me to my second tip. Tip number 2. Grind blues and sell whites. For this tip to make any sense, you need to understand that there's a grade system for equips in this game. I won't go into detail here, but there's 3 things you should be aware of. Common, uncommon, and rare. Or otherwise known as white, blue, and purple in that order. Disassembling, or what I like to call grinding, is an action you can take with your equips. Go to the NPC Morgan, and over there you are allowed to grind your equips using the disassembler. There are players that can eventually disassemble as well, but that's going into professions. I will cover professions in the second video. Now I'm about to go off topic, but I figure you guys will enjoy this little fact. Before Metastasis, there used to be a different NPC that you would have to go to disassemble equips. His name was Loden. But when God messed everything up and destroyed a rat in the process, he probably killed Loden accidentally too. Man, that God is a real bastard. To make matters worse, and yes, there's something worse, there are theories out there that Loden turned into a gruesome creature in a dungeon you will encounter later on called Old Quarter. At least let his soul live in peace, Neopol. Now that tangent is off my chest, let's continue. Grinding results in cube fragments. A white equip will give clear cube fragments, while blue equips will give clear and colored. So I highly suggest you sell your white equips for gold and grind your blue equips for cubes. Now let's get right back into it. Tip number 3. Pick up everything you see, and I mean everything. Those materials you pick up right now might seem inconsequential, but it could be required for an epic quest. Not just that though, they might be useful for some professions. Just trust me on this, hoard materials. They don't weigh too much and it's worth it. The final tip follows right alongside this idea. Do not sell any materials in the beginning. As I've already said, these materials can easily be handy for quests later on. And since the market is bound to be volatile, if you do want to sell, make sure you know how much they are worth first. Last thing you want to do is get ripped off. Okay, time to discuss the second section, maximize fatigue points. We all know Neopol will be using fatigue points in the new DFO Global. But not many of the newbies are aware that there are a variety of ways to get the most out of your limited fatigue. First, know that fatigue is a limiter to how many times you can run a dungeon. You have 156 points in total, and each room in a dungeon costs 1 point. So let's start. Tip number 5. Run your last dungeon with 1 FP. This may sound crazy, but it's actually easily doable. You do not have to complete every single room in a dungeon to win the run. All you need to do in order to win is to kill the boss. Simple as that. First step is to leave your second to last dungeon with 1 FP. As long as you know the map of the dungeon you're running, doing something like that is easy. And then run another dungeon but clear every single room. To enter a dungeon, all you need is at least 1 FP, so it works. You can do this without any penalties, even though you are technically over 156 points. Now that we know how to do that, let's talk about the next tip. Stack your quest. NPCs give a lot of quests in DFO. You might have a lot of quests for a single dungeon. What you want to do is to try and complete several quests at once with a single dungeon run. Doing so enables you to gain extra experience. Quest experience is no joke, and really good veteran players are able to hit cap that much faster because they know exactly what they are doing with quest stacking. The next tip is an obvious one, and one that I've been telling people for ages. Do towers after finishing fatigue. You get to enter 2 towers in the beginning. Those 2 towers have a global limit of 3 entries, but that limit gets reset every single day. Tower of Illusion and Tower of Death are the names of these 2 towers. I suggest trying out Tower of Illusion first and later Tower of Death because it's easier. The way it works is that there's a set amount of floors per tower. The higher floor you manage to reach, the more experience you end up getting. Towers boost your experience gain by quite a ton, and it's imperative that you do as many tower runs as you can every single day. And the last tip I will provide for you is to join a guild. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Guilds actually provide benefits beyond just being a community hub. To explain why, you need to understand that guilds actually have levels and guild points. The more active a guild is, the more points it can collect, and the more guild perks it can buy. Some of these guild perks include more experience or added stats, so it's highly beneficial to join a guild to enhance your dungeon experience. Just a word of caution though, please make sure to pick a guild carefully. Do not just randomly join a guild, scout them out first, because the penalty for choosing a wrong guild is rough. Leaving a guild makes it so that you can't join another guild for another 72 hours. That's precious time wasted, so try to avoid that. Now for the third section, Magic Seal Equips. Magic Seal Equips are a very important part of the game, and newbies have no idea what they are. First, know that Magic Seal Equips are of the rare grade. They are super common and drop often in dungeons, and they have really nice properties that make them useful to even endgame players. So let's begin. Tip number 9. Do not grind Magic Seal Equips. Despite being rare, Magic Seal Equips output a terrible amount of cubes when you grind them. It's just not worth it. Whites and blues give you more. Let's talk about the next tip. Go to Syria and break magic seals. Syria is an NPC in DFO that you will be dealing with a lot. Know that when you first get Magic Seal Equips, you can't use them. You need to break their seal. The interesting part of Magic Seal Equips is what happens after you break the seal. You get 1 to 3 effects on your Magic Seal Equip. Know that these effects will be different stats or skills. For example, you won't get 2 strength stats on one equip. This brings me to my next tip. Change unwanted stats. You are actually allowed to re-roll a single stat from your 1 to 3 on your equip indefinitely. This option is labeled as Convert Magic Seal and can also be accessed through Syria. But be careful. This means once you choose a stat, you'll be locked out from changing the other stats. Last tip of the day. Convert your equips into a new one. Let's imagine for a second that you are an elementalist. What you want is a rod, but you only have 2 non-rod magic seal weapons. By breaking those 2 magic seal weapons, you convert them into a weapon of your choice, sort of like combining them to form a totally new and different equipment. This option is labeled as Recast Magic Seal. And that's pretty much it. I tried to be as concise as possible with this video, but I did end up cutting a ton of details. If you want the whys and hows, please check out my guide linked down below. Thanks for watching. If you feel like grabbing a tasty bite to eat, might I suggest a sub? You know it looks delicious. Anyway, till next time.